Without further ado, we have a very special guest here at our, what is this, our comeback, Steve? What would you say this is?
This is our first show in our new digs. We're dealing with a few little technical glitches, but we're powering through, baby. We're just hitting the old CD player. Can't play from the computer tonight, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's totally cool. And our guest in studio is Jenn Attaway of the Unnaturals. She plays bass around town. She's super cool bass player. Seen her at multiple venues around town. And she did us a solid and went ahead and fished out her second to last album, I believe, out of her car. And we went ahead and unwrapped it. So we're going to have some great Unnatural music for you tonight. Jenn, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
You are always welcome. Several reasons we have you here. First and foremost, we want to talk about your surf band, the Unnaturals, which is totally awesome. You can see them at multiple venues around town. I've seen you guys at Rare Form. I've seen you guys at Bank Street Bar. I've seen you guys at Siberia, at Checkpoint Charlie, and, of course, more venues than that. So thank you so much for coming on air with us.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Cool. And
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're always welcome. We got to have you on next time. We can go ahead and play some new tracks that you're going to have coming out pretty soon, hey?
Yeah. I just didn't have them on the CD ready to go to bring tonight, so thought we were going to be able to play them from the computer, but next time. So what I might do for the people that were tuning in to hear the new Unnatural songs, I'll probably go ahead and put the two songs that we were going to play tonight on our Reverb Nation page, and you can tune in and check them out for a couple of days, and then I'll pull them back down just to make it up to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the songs, really interesting title, it's The Unnatural versus the Komodo Dragon.
That's the album, yeah. And I think we just changed it today to be The Unnaturals Face the Dreaded Kimono Dragon.
Okay, cool.
The song is only called Kimono Dragon, but I like to get ridiculous with the album titles.
Well, like just so we can go ahead and give everybody some background here that doesn't know your music. You play in one of the premier surf bands here in New Orleans. It's not fair really to just call you a surf band. There's a lot going on there, lots of texture. Your guitarist Kevin, I mean, that guy he kills it.
Thanks, Kevin Smoking Bowls. I know you're listening. Yeah, it's hard when people say, "What kind of music do you play?" Because to say it's surf really doesn't do it justice. It's a little bit of everything from rock to metal to punk to surf to swing to rockabilly. I mean, it got to a point where some people started calling it surf metal, and I really like that, or just instrumental rock. We're okay with whatever. The main thing is that you just give it a chance, because if you give it a chance, you probably like it. There's something for everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely some great musicianship going on with those songs. I mean, I've heard everything from like your own original material, especially off of the album that I have. One of my favorite songs is Tsunami. It's of course got the refrain where you go and actually say tsunami on it. Yeah. And then of course I've heard you go into some of the covers that you guys do. I've heard you go into Run to the Hills from like Iron Maiden. That's pretty awesome.
We have a medley. It's completely instrumental, and we call it Made in New Orleans. That's one of our favorite things that we do. The fun twist on. We do a fun twist on some covers. We do some classic surf covers, but then we also do some, I don't know, like rock or punk or metal songs. But then we just take out the lyrics and let you hear that how much of a surf influence so much rock music has, or just just how interesting your favorite song can be even without the lyrics, and you still recognize it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've heard so many good things, at those different venues that I've seen you play at. You have like such a huge amount of material that you guys like choose from too. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many live albums do you, or not live albums, but how many studio albums do you have at this point?
We've got one EP that we made in my bedroom on a computer, and it sounds like it. It's got a couple of live CDs, live tracks on it too. and that was Meet the Unnaturals. Then we've got the one that you have right there, the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty. That was our first full length, our first actual in a studio album. And we have one that we actually started recording last September that we're just now finally about to put out. And that's the one that we talked about a little earlier, the Unnaturals face the dreaded kimono dragon. So hopefully we'll be getting that one out in about a month.
That's awesome. So you've already went ahead and mastered the tracks and done everything that you need to do for the album. Just need to press it, or you've already have them pressed?
We just need to get the packaging together and get duplication out. For a while there was an issue with finances, but then there was just some stop and go with basically packaging, artwork, stuff like that. Not being able to decide on what you want, not being able to get it all together. But it's coming together quite nicely now. I'm really excited.
Super cool. Well, why don't we go ahead and take a little break here and listen to some of this last album? Anything that we should go ahead and play, or should we just play it off the top?
It doesn't matter. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Well, let's listen to a couple of songs here. This album is the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty. I'm pretty sure people can find this album like at all the regular outlets, Louisiana Music Factory, Peaches Records.
Unless they're out.
Awesome. And you said that you have a Reverb Nation page, and of course people can go ahead and purchase it that way as well? Awesome. Good stuff. So, like, if you like what you hear, and I know you will, make sure that you go ahead and check out the Unnaturals. This is the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty, released a few years ago. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Sex Wax. You're listening to 102.3 FM New Orleans. This is Orleans Parish Line. All right, all right, all right. You're listening to Orleans Parish Line here on 102.3 FM New Orleans, WHIV. We're a community radio dedicated to human rights and social justice, as well as public health, end all wars. 3 songs set there from the Unnaturals, and that's off of their... well, not their latest album, but second to latest album. This is going to be the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty. 3 tracks off of that: Sex Wax, If Only Keith Richards Could Surf, and Redneck Riot. Great song titles there, Jen.
Thank you.
All right. Well, before we go ahead and get into things Creepy Fest, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Unnaturals because... amazing sound. I know that you and Kevin are kind of like the backbone of the band. You play all different types of venues. Where are you guys playing next?
Oh, well, let's see. This Friday night, we are doing the live music for Big Deal Burlesque, and that's at Siberia. It's part of Creepy Fest.
Awesome.
It's an early show. It's at 7, so that one's going to be a lot of fun. And we actually play almost every week. So then after that, we'll be back at Siberia on, I believe it's the 23rd. We're opening for Drivin' and Cryin'. So,
nice.
Yeah, there's one other band playing on that. I believe they're called Bayou. And then the last Saturday of the month, we are playing at Black Label Ice House with a band called Shark Attack.
Oh, super cool. That's that new barbecue joint that's kind of like Uptown / Central City, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. I haven't been there yet, but some of our friends of the station, Jamie Bernstein with the Hill Country Hounds, he's played over there. I know that Marshland have a gig coming up there pretty soon here. Yeah, I've heard the barbecue's really good. I haven't been out there. Have you been out there yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We played there once before. It was pretty, like when they were just kind of getting started, but I've been there to eat a couple more times, and I've been there to see some other bands, so it's a good place. Nice people, really great food, so lots of fun. It's going to be a fun show.
Awesome. So they have like a dedicated stage area like off to the side or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, rad. Okay, cool. Hey, I'm looking forward to go ahead and going over there. I've heard nothing but good things from that barbecue place. So
You could go there Sunday night, Jimmy. It looks like they're involved in Creepy Fest.
yeah?
Why, yes, they are.
That's right.
We're having the metal barbecue night there.
That's right. There
that's
you go.
awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Now,
Actually starts at 3 p.m. I'm checking that out. Yeah. So nice afternoon, man. Go check it out. Get some
absolutely.
barbecue, catch some live music.
Absolutely. I want to ask you a question because it just came into mind right now. So we're talking a little bit about Kevin, and Kevin is like a super character. I love that guy. Seeing him at your shows and everything became a little bit of like I don't want to like a YouTube sensation, but there's this great video of him in the Bywater.
I already know what you're gonna say. Yeah,
and like he is just as cool as ice during this thing. And like what I'm referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, unfortunately here in New Orleans we got a little bit of crime, and he was actually on one of the videos there like purchasing cigarettes or something like that, and something was going on. He just like kept his cool through the whole thing.
Yeah. Am I allowed to go into detail?
I mean,
He was basically trying to buy some cigarettes and some chips at a store that was getting robbed, and the clerk said, "No, you can't have our money." And so he said, "Yeah, man, no, I just want my chips." And the guy, he left with nothing, and Kevin got his chips and his cigarettes.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
I mean, just as cool as he is, like holding that guitar on stage, he was just as cool in this video. I'm like, I think anybody else would have freaked out, and like props to him. And just having that image in my mind every time, like I see y'all play now, I'm like, that guy's cool. You can't tell me otherwise, man. That guy's super cool. Awesome. All right. So let's go into Creepy Fest. I mean, it's kind of like, we kind of want to talk about, and we'll get to like some more. Hopefully you'll have more dates for us so we can go ahead and let listeners know where they can go ahead and catch you, and a release date for your new album, which these 2 tracks that I have, unfortunately we can't play tonight, but Kimono Dragon and Sahara Stomp, excellent tracks, very indicative of like the surf genre, but the New Orleans spin, and the way that the Unnaturals do it is really, really cool. Creepy Fest starts tomorrow. Lots of different venues. Starts off tomorrow, 2 venues, Bar Redux and the Hi-Ho Lounge.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We're also, for the first year, we're going to do a thing called All Things Creepy. It's an art and memorabilia show related to horror movies and, horror and music. And that's going to be at Bar Redo. And I believe that they're going to keep the exhibit up all weekend running with Creepy Fest. So it's going to be kind of not only the kickoff party, but somewhat of an opening for that show. And at this moment, I really want to thank Janya for putting that together. It was her idea. She's one of the owners at Bar Redux, and she's been very, very helpful with all of this, the whole fest. So.
Yeah, awesome. Bar Redux, Bar Redo, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
It's in the old joint, right?
Yeah.
The old joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
it's a cool
cool right
place,
there.
And they just got their AC fixed, so that's a plus.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's important in July.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. And like the coolest thing about this is that it starts early and of course goes super late. So on Thursday, so we have everything starting at Bar Redux at 6 p.m. And then of course you have things switching over to the Hi-Ho Lounge at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, do you have it designed where you can go ahead and miss minimal amount of the action, or you just kind of have to pick and choose, kind of like Jazz Fest, like, stay dedicated to a stage or something?
Yeah, for tomorrow night, it's fine because the first show has to end at 9 because it's in a residential area. So you have like an hour to get over to Hi-Ho. And so even if you're on foot or bicycle, you're fine. You'll make it. You'll totally make it. Now, it's the same thing Friday night. The shows are in the same venue. There's 2 separate shows though, so you just stay right there, but it is 2 separate shows, but you don't miss anything. It just goes. And then Saturday is the one that's always the most fun night, in my opinion, most of the time every year. That's the one that's multiple venues, and that's the one where you kind of have to plan your schedule. But we have arranged it to where you can usually catch at least 15 minutes of every band. If you just want to run around, if you don't want to just stand in front of the stage for one band's whole set, you can potentially catch everything. So we always try to work really hard on that. And we also have a film screening Saturday early at Lost Love Lounge, and we are screening Surf Nazis Must Die, and the director Peter George is actually going to be in attendance to do, I don't know, whatever, sign stuff, shake hands, photo ops, whatever.
That's super cool. Now, let me ask you a question. So you have a couple of screenings. Are you going to have anything off of Terror Optics or the? There's going to at least be a trailer for the new movie that's in post production right now. Okay. I'm pretty sure he was saying something about possibly some short films or some maybe music videos. Cool. Now,
that would be by them.
Just so we can go ahead and let our audiences know that don't know, this is of course your boyfriend's production company, right?
Yes. Okay.
He does so many things.
Yes.
Not only is he in 10 different bands playing multiple different instruments, he has Sheer Terror Records. And he also, which of course releases some of his material and other people's material. He's got Terror Optics, which is the production company, the film arm of what he does. And then of course, I always see him at the coffee shop / the Herb on Canal every once in a while. Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah, yeah, and this is his fest. He started this actually. It's called Creepy Fest because when he started it, it was a music fest to premiere the soundtrack to Terror Optics' new at the time short film. But what they did was they put it to where it was a 2-disc package. It came with the soundtrack. So to release that, he wanted to have all the bands from the soundtrack play, and then he realized, okay, this is too many bands for one night. It became a multi-night thing, and everyone loved it so much, and they put out enough films, short films, etc., that they'll always have something that they can debut. He just kept it going, and it's gotten bigger and bigger every year. This year he's got 45 Grave headlining, and it just blows my mind. But what most people don't realize, he does all the artwork for the promo materials, the merchandise. He books it, he promotes it, he organizes it, and then he plays almost every single night. And it's some nights he has to bring different equipment because he'll be in two different bands and he plays like bass in one and drums in the other, you know? So he deserves so much credit, and I'm so proud of him every year. You know, I help as much as I can, but it's like 90% all him, you know?
No, super cool guy. Bill's rad. I remember like when you pointed out to me a couple of years ago that he was an extra in Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that spits.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I describe it, yeah.
Referring to the scene where, getting to the plantation with Calvin Candy and like Django's there and like, there's like introductions and everything. He's one of the guys in the big old long dusters there and he spits on the ground.
Yeah, when Leonardo DiCaprio, when Calvin Candy is walking up to the steps and Samuel L. Jackson's character is coming down to meet him, right when they're walking towards each other, it's a big wide shot and you see all the extras lined up in the background, and one of the guys just turns his head to the right and spits. That's Bill.
That's Bill.
That's Bill.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Last year, this was a couple of years ago. We were talking about the him working in Django Unchained. But last year, I got a little involved with y'all, and I'm glad to like be a little bit have a little bit more promotion with y'all too, because this is an amazing festival.
Mm-hmm.
Caught the inaugural night last year was at Bank Street Bar, right? Am I remembering that correctly, or is that Friday? It was one of those. It was one of the early days. Well, last year it was awesome. I went over to Bank Street Bar, bought a T-shirt. They're super cool T-shirts. They had discs for sale. They had all kinds of cool people there. And one of the greatest things about Creepy Fest is that it brings in people from like all over the country that are just really interested in the music. And, being here in New Orleans isn't too bad of a selling point either to get people over. Some of my friends were actually supposed to play last year, but their bus broke down in Tennessee. They're in this Latina punk band out of San Antonio called Fea.
Everybody was really disappointed about that too.
Me too.
Yeah.
And, we had played some of your music and some of their music, what used to be called the Spaghetti Western show here.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
And it was really cool stuff. They actually just released a CD and can't wait to go ahead and listen to that.
Cool.
So many acts. What do you say, 45 people that you have booked this year?
I think so. I think it was 45. Wow.
That's amazing.
It's a lot. It's a lot to keep organized. Because I don't know how many punk bands you had to deal with in the first place, or bands in general, A few of them, it kind of takes a lot of organization and a lot of networking. So 45, that's a lot for any one person to handle. So
no, I hear you.
But it's just great. It's so much fun every year, and I just really hope that this year, there's been a lot of tensions running high about a lot of different things going on in the world right now, and I hope that this will be a good opportunity for people to come back together again. We all like this kind of music, so this is what we're doing this weekend. This is all us being cool together, enjoying something we have in common.
And of course, this is the
being
eighth
able to forget
installment.
your worries.
This is the 8th installment of Creepy Fest, right?
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Great
that's
job.
awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. We'll go ahead and play a couple of more tracks here off of the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty. And when we come back, we'll go into some of the specifics and read off some of these band names and, of course, where you can go ahead and catch them and what venue from. And remember, Creepy Fest rolls in tomorrow night. Everything starts off at Bar Redo or Bar Redux. It's the old joint off of Poland Avenue. It starts at 6 p.m. and you're going to have music all the way from Thursday to Sunday. And I think everything kind of wraps up, it looks like, at the Circle Bar. With all kinds of music there too. So basically from Thursday to 6 p.m. all the way to Sunday, probably well into Monday morning there at the Circle Bar. You can go ahead and catch Creepy Fest New Orleans, the 8th installment. We're going to go ahead and break. You're listening to WHIV. This is Orleans Parish Line. I'm Jimmy Palacios here with Jenn Attaway from the Unnaturals, along with Steve LaFaso. And we're going to get to some more of this album. WHIV 102.3 FM New Orleans. We're community radio dedicated to human rights and social justice, as well as public health and all wars. All right. You're listening to Orleans Parish Line here on WHIV 102.3 FM New Orleans. We are community radio dedicated to human rights and social justice, as well as public health. End all wars. 3 songs set there from the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty. We listened to Dead Man's Hand, Tequila Mockingbird, and The Ballad for a Rebel. Tequila Mockingbird actually was the name of this cover band back in South Texas. And that's such a cool name.
See here, I thought I came up with something original.
Oh, no, you did. I mean, come on. People can have original thoughts at different places. You didn't know they existed, right? So
right.
There you go. One thing I want to ask you about, of course, this is your second to last CD, and you have a new CD coming out. What details can you give us about the new CD and what the working title is right now, which is subject to change?
The working title right now is The Unnaturals Face the Dreaded Kimono Dragon. And let's see, we started recording that one September of last year. We had some scheduling and financial difficulties that kept it from flowing smoothly, so we had to take some time off and then go back to the studio. And that was the COG Secret Lab, I believe. We were recorded by Louis Dobbin. Sorry if I mispronounced that, Lewis. But yeah, he did a great job. So much fun to work with. We had a great time. We got to mess with all kinds of we made shakers. I got to play a glockenspiel and a xylophone and all kinds of keyboards. Screamed my head off. It was great. Got to play with a rabbit, like a real live rabbit that he just got. And but I digress. But yeah, it was a good time. It took a long time, and then we kind of had the financial difficulties come up again. Had to get all the packaging together. Artists had some life-changing dilemmas, and so now we're finally getting things back on track. So we're promoting the record because I really do think it's going to come out soon this time. So no matter what, I think we've started talking about it, and I believe we're going to at least release it digitally next month no matter what happens, because it's got to come out less than a year after we started it. That's the goal. So we're going to make that happen. And hopefully we'll actually have some CDs and a CD release party maybe in about a month or two. Hopefully.
Super cool. And I'm sure like you've already been playing these songs at like all your live shows.
Yeah.
And people can go ahead and pretty much catch a preview of the album this Friday, right?
Yeah, definitely. At Siberia, we're going to be backing up the Big Deal Burlesque troupe. And that's Roxy LaRouge, Lady Lucerne, and Nikki, looks like LaVillain. And, just mentioning their names because Big Deal Burlesque has been around for a while, but she swaps out, I think it's somewhere around 30 different performers. So that's who you get this Friday when you come watch them dance with us.
Super cool, yeah.
That's part of Creepy Fest.
Roxy LaRouge has definitely been associated here with us here at WHIV. Works closely with one of our DJs, Ben Wisdom, who does emceeing all over the place. Really super cool guy. Has his own. He does NOLA Matters here from 5 to 6 o'clock, I believe, on Tuesdays, where we just go ahead and talk about everything New Orleans. But he gives such a unique perspective because he's out there every night, DJing and doing these things, or emceeing, I'm sorry, and he's been just a wonderful person to have here at the station, and of course Roxy is one of the best burlesque dancers here in New Orleans. Some of the people on the same bill with you for the Big Deal Burlesque, I see you have wait a minute,
it's a second show.
Okay, cool. That's the second show.
Yeah,
so it's all Unnaturals with Big Deal Burlesque.
Yeah, and I just glanced at the set list that she gave me. It looks like you're gonna hear a lot off the new album, the unreleased album too, so that's gonna be a lot of fun.
That is
theme.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Wow, how many practices did you have to go ahead and get that all going?
I don't know if I should really answer that. We don't.
You'll find out on Friday, folks.
This is gonna, I think, be our third time that we're doing this with them. So it's kind of, we send them some music to choose from. They tell us what they want. We practice the songs, and then we just have a powwow before it starts and cross our fingers, and it's gone really smoothly. They're very professional. It's always such a great show, and it pretty much runs really smoothly. There was one time Roxy stepped on glass or something, and everything still just went as planned. She's a trooper. But it was it's kind of what do they call it? Flying by the seat of your pants or something, but it always works out. Well,
yeah, it's kind of like theater. It's live. You got to be able to improvise, adapt, overcome, and everything that goes along with it because, we're not taping these segments.
Right.
Awesome. I want to just go ahead and kind of go through some of the stuff that you can go ahead and see and hear. Starting with Thursday and kind of work through Sunday, because some of these bands you won't be able to catch again because they're coming in from out of town.
Right.
But the creativity in some of these names are amazing. So starting with Thursday, 6 o'clock at Bar Redo or Bar Redux, the old joint on Poland, we have Special Victims Unit, Burn Barbie, Koshmar, Los Niños Molestos, Bathroom Grime, DJ Mange, and the All Things Creepy Art Show, which you mentioned.
Right, that's the art and memorabilia show. It's going to be revolving around a horror movie theme and horror and music. And Janya Mercado, one of the owners of Bar Redux, actually conceptualized and organized the entire show, the memorabilia show. So
super cool. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, like, you know, just seeing the merch table at Bank Street Bar when I went last year, all kinds of cool art. Like, if you're into kind of like punk, goth, surf stuff, just a really cool place to go ahead and pick up stuff. And then later on Thursday at the Hi-Ho Lounge, 10 o'clock, we have Dummy Dumpster, the Bills, Trampoline Team, the Diplocrats, Merkaba, and DJ Pasta. And I know Bill's with Dummy Dumpster and the Bills, right?
Yes.
So he's playing back-to-back?
yes.
Same instrument?
No, not for that one. That one he plays lead guitar in the Bills. Sometimes he'll grab the bass. No. I'm sorry. The Bills he plays lead guitar, does some singing. Dummy Dumpster he plays drums.
Okay, super cool.
So yes, that means he's gonna have a full guitar rig and a full drum kit in his car. We are driving separately.
Very cool. And then on Friday, what we were just talking about, Siberia, 7 p.m., the Big Deal Burlesque with the Unnaturals, where you can go ahead and catch lots of material off their latest album, Kimono Dragon, the Unnaturals versus the Kimono Dragon.
The Unnaturals face the dreaded Kimono Dragon.
Face the dreaded Kimono Dragon. There
yeah,
you go.
I had to go with something a little
I
different.
love these. I love your CD titles because they invoke like all those like 50s and 60s
Right.
movies, like, you know, like the 50-Foot Betty, of course, you know, and
Yeah.
like, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's also paying homage to, like, especially like the Ventures was like the Ventures played Telstar, the Ventures in space, you know, and we really like that a lot, and they were one of the reasons that we wanted to start doing surf. So, little shout out to the Ventures.
Yeah, and it's so versatile too, and it sounds super cool. I know that Ron Hotstream, one of our co-hosts here, has a background in surf, so like he just loves playing like those old tunes, and of course, you know, with his country and western outfit, the Mid City Drifters, which is Steve's a part of, you know, to go ahead and fill in. Lots of singing. You play a lot of surf music in the middle.
We do Walk Don't Run. We do, God, what do we do? That really cool Western Apache. We do one that we haven't played in a while called Morgan, which is a great, I don't know, I've never heard that piece before, but we got it from the Ventures.
Mm-hmm.
We do the Ventures style version of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Love doing that
Neat.
one. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot to go wrong in that song, too.
Yeah.
I always like to practice that one before a gig.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the cool things about surf. Like, you know, if I can just go ahead and go off on a little aside, and I'll come back in because, you know, I can go on this forever. But like spaghetti western music that was created like in the '60s, honestly, wouldn't have been even available if it wasn't for you know, all the surf acts, because like that spaghetti western music takes a lot from surf music and just
Yeah.
basically westernizes it even more, you know? So it's really cool, like hearing, you know, there wouldn't like, I really don't think that Ennio Morricone wouldn't have had the influence he had with this spaghetti western music unless he was listening to all these surf acts like in the late 50s and early 60s.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome stuff.
And it's just a lot of overlap in those two, you know, musical
Yeah.
styles.
Yeah.
You know.
The fuzzy guitars,
Yep.
you know, things that kind of like out of sync. It's pretty rad.
Yeah. Chord progressions, a lot of minor key stuff. It's just the two styles just blend together incredibly well. Yeah.
Radical. And then later on at Siberia, right after the 7 o'clock show, at 9:30, we have 45 Grave, the Pallbearers, Die Rots, the Velo Stacks, and Death Church. And I know Bill's in the Pallbearers as well,
Oh, yeah.
right? Cool. And then moving on to Saturday, kicking things off early on Saturday, which is good. At the Lost Love Lounge, we have the movie screenings. We have the screenings of Surf Nazis Must Die with Peter George. He's the director.
Yes.
Radical. And then we have Return of the Living Dead and other short films and stuff.
Yeah, and for some of you people that are wondering what the connection is there, 45 Grave, the headliner from the night before, they had one of the major hit singles, if you call it a hit, from the soundtrack for Return of the Living Dead. So that's the connection there. Not 100% sure if any of the guys are still going to be in town or if they're going to come to that, but I mean, there's always a chance. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go ahead and
Maybe.
get some great food there. They have some good Vietnamese food there at Lost Love Lounge.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. And 45 Grave, where are they originally from? Are they from the West Coast?
Yeah.
Okay, rad. Awesome. And then continuing on Saturday at 8 p.m. at Checkpoint Charlie's and Rare Form. And those are just, they're a fire station away. We have...
Those guys really enjoy watching everybody go back and forth, too.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's super cool. So right there off of Esplanade and then over there off of Frenchman at the tail end of Frenchman. Rare Form is what used to be Tomatillos. It was also... Mojitos. Yeah, so it's had a few names in the last 10 years. But we have Before I Hang, Class Hole, Speed Dealer... Blank with Fire, Future Hate, Disappointed Parents, Donkey Puncher, Essay, the Stove Bolts, the Chica Negra, Perfect Gentleman, Fat Stupid Ugly People, Crime Wave, Fugitive Family, The Poots, and Betty White, blank. And I think that I want to go check that out because that's amazing. All right. And who's Bill playing with that Saturday? After the they're at Checkpoint Charlie's or Rare Form.
He's in the Poots.
Okay, that's right.
Let me see what else we got. He's in the Poots. I think he's only playing in the Poots that night. Look at that.
Cool. He gets to check out a bunch of shows then. Is this also like tentatively because I'm reading off a flyer which you can go ahead and pick up a lot of places
some of
around
these
town.
bands may have already changed, but if not, it's always subject to change. There's always problems, like you were talking about earlier. You never know when the van's going to break down.
It's true.
You never know when someone's going to get sick. When the boss is going to say, I changed my mind. You have to work on Saturday. You can't go to New Orleans.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
But that's why we have 45 bands,
That's why
guys.
we have 45 bands in a waiting list. So it's just always interesting to me when people wait till the week of the show to ask if there's any space for them to jump on. So
there you go.
Not really, but we'll keep you in mind.
Super cool. And then rounding everything out on Sunday at first at the Black Label Ice House. We were talking about that up and coming barbecue place there, kind of like in Central City, uptown. We got Metal Barbecue with Six Pack, a hanging, Witch Burial, AR-15, Baptizer, and Stereo Fire Empire. And then rounding out, closing out the festival at the Circle Bar, 10 p.m., we have Tough Loves, Medically Separated, Liquor and Lies, Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly, The Tomb of Nick Cage, and DJ Pasta again.
Yeah.
So DJ Pasta starts things off and then ends everything from Thursday and then on to Sunday.
And Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly is a Flipper cover band, if anybody's interested and knows what that means. But yeah, it's the best way. I know most of you people weren't sitting there right now with a pen and paper writing all this down. So if you haven't seen a flyer around town, there is a Facebook page for Creepy Fest, and there's an event page for the whole event. And most of the events have their own individual event page. So plenty of ways to remind yourself and keep track of who's playing, who dropped out, what's going on, when does it start, etc. So
yeah, absolutely. And
it's
of
a lot
course,
to remember.
Google it, go on Facebook. I'm pretty sure some of the publications around town, I know that you work with Anti-Gravity now, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'm pretty sure that the schedule's out in Anti-Gravity as well.
Well, you should be. Yeah, I know there was at least an ad for sure. So.
Yeah, so like anywhere that you would normally go to, any bar that has a stack of magazines in the corner, there's a good chance that you'll go ahead and find a flyer, or you'll find basically the schedule there in any one of those magazines.
Whoever does the 7 and 7 or something, 7 and 7 days or something, we made it to that.
Okay.
So whichever publication puts that out, I don't know.
Hey.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Or even easier, Thursday, 6 p.m. Go to Bar Redux. It's the old joint. It's over there, on Poland Avenue, and then you can go ahead and get the full.
That's right.
the full experience.
Where it kicks off.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and break, and then we're going to go ahead and, ask Jenn a few final questions. We're going to go ahead and play some more tracks off of The Unnatural versus the 50-Foot Betty. You can go ahead and find this album at all the normal outlets. You can find this Louisiana Music Factory. I'm sure you could find it at Peaches Records, and, of course, online links.
ReverbNation.com/The Unnaturals.
There you go. I'm going to go ahead and start this next track off with Rumblebee, and then finish off with my favorite track off of this album, Tsunami. All right. You're listening to WHIV 102.3 FM New Orleans is Orleans Parish Line. All right, all right, all right. Listening to 102.3 FM New Orleans, WHIV, 102.3 on your dial. I'm pretty sure that you have been listening on analog, old school form. I hear that our signal strength is a little bit better now that we're a little bit closer to our tower, which is pretty awesome. And one of the side benefits from like getting this awesome new station. We listened to Rumblebee, the Unnatural Progressions, and my favorite, Tsunami. And this is off of the Unnaturals versus the 50-Foot Betty. And of course, we have Jenn Attaway here in the studio, bass player for the Unnaturals, who's going to be all around town the next month. And of course, playing Creepy Fest this Friday with the Big Deal Burlesque. That's with Roxy LaRouge's troupe, and that starts at 7 p.m. and that should be really awesome. That's at Siberia. Jenn, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Let us know where we can go ahead and catch you other than Creepy Fest this weekend.
Okay, the following Saturday, I believe it's the 23rd. We're going back to Siberia actually, and we are opening for Driving and Crying. They're still around, and we're opening for them with, I believe there's another band called Bayou. I'm pretty sure that's what I said their name was. And then the last Saturday of the month, I think it's the 30th, we're going to be over at Black Label Ice House with Shark Attack. And I'm
Very cool.
pretty sure those are both at 10 o'clock, so... And, we play really often. We play all over town. We play out of town. So really the best way to keep track of all that would be to go like us on Facebook or keep track of our Reverb Nation page, which, like I said, since I wasn't able to debut the new songs tonight here on the radio, I think I'll post 2 of them on the Reverb Nation page sometime tomorrow. So just keep checking. And that's where usually our most up-to-date event calendar is going to be.
Super cool. Right off of Reverb Nation, and of course, what you do on Facebook too, right?
Yeah.
Radical.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we definitely have to have you in studio next time to go ahead and play tracks off of the new CD.
Yeah,
and hopefully that'll be, like you said, within a year of when you started writing it, right?
Yeah,
Which is
definitely.
only a month or so away. So,
It's about a month and a half or 2 months away.
Cool.
So unfortunately,
Yeah, awesome. Like we totally need to have you on, and eventually in the future. Right now, we are. I mean, you see us kind of like moving in here, and you're the first live guest.
Yay!
Jenn Attaway, yay! The Unnaturals. Yay. So you're our first live guest, and hopefully within the next few months or however long it takes, we want to feature bands here like within our sound studio. So we'll have that capability eventually to go ahead and play a few tunes live on air. We'll go ahead and
we
stream
would definitely
that.
be game, definitely.
Awesome.
That is going to be a lot of fun having live bands in here. I just think it's going to bring this show to a whole new level.
Definitely.
And, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, same here. That's why we have so many people working on the show. I mean, it's just me and you, Steve, tonight, but we have John Paul Carmody, who's a regular contributor to the show, along with Ron Hotstream, and we may need more people just because if we get that production aspect of the band stuff, it's going to be really cool, and we want to make sure that we have everything covered. So.
And we hope to have the Unnaturals on.
Yay.
One of the first bands live in the studio.
Yeah,
we
it'll be
should do
great.
that, definitely.
No, you will. I mean, we just need to go ahead and have that capability, and then we'll just book a date.
Yeah, let's do it.
Super cool. And of course, this weekend, or actually starting tomorrow, but weekends start early here. I think probably start tonight if you wanted to. But Thursday, Bar Redux, 6 p.m., the old joint off of Napoleon Avenue. You can go ahead and catch the beginning
of
the...
Napoleon.
Poland. Oh, no, Poland Avenue. Sorry, yeah, Poland Avenue.
Sorry to cut you off.
No worries. Thank you.
That was pretty big, though. That was a way opposite direction.
Yeah, Poland Avenue over there on the Bywater. You can go ahead and catch the beginning of the 8th installment of Creepy Fest there at Bar Redo. And then, of course, it ends, it goes on all weekend, and then it ends at the Circle Bar. It's going to be pretty awesome. Definitely catch a few shows between Thursday and Sunday. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're always welcome, and good luck this weekend and with all your future shows. I'm pretty sure that I'll see you around because you guys do play a lot, and that's good.
Yeah. Well, thanks, and good luck with the new station. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Well, you've been listening to Orleans Parish Line here on 102.3 FM New Orleans. This is WHIV. We are community radio dedicated to human rights and social justice, as well as public health. End all wars. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
WHIV LP, New Orleans.